Hello, my name is Dwayne Kimball, owner founder of KMD89 VA Claims Consultant, Leave No Vet Behind, and also I'm a United States Army veteran. Today, I'm bringing you another educational video as it pertains to the VA disability compensation claims process. And today, I'm going to be discussing the proposed mental changes. I've done some videos in the past talking about the email, who's protected, but I wanted to take extra time to talk about just the proposed changes as it pertains to the mental health condition. And then towards the end of this video, I'm going to share some of my thoughts as to if I was still rating a rating specialist, what would I be looking for? And what are some things that veterans can do to get ahead of these proposed changes? Okay, so you definitely want to make sure you watch the entire video. But before we get into today's video, make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. And please do not forget to share this video with your fellow veterans. Also, you can follow me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So by now, I'm pretty sure, like myself and everyone else out there on YouTube land, there's been a huge buzz about the VA's proposed changes as it pertains to the respiratory condition, some of the diagnostic code criteria, the audio, and then the mental. I believe, and this is just my opinion, the mental is, out of the three, is the major one. Oh, I would say it is the major, has a lot of major changes to it. Okay. And I'm going to share my thoughts at the end of, do I think if it's for the better or for the worse? But I got some information that I'm going to share with you, some slides. I went through and read it from top to bottom about 3 times. And the third time I started pulling some things out that kind of made the light go off or go on, if you will. Okay. So I'm going to share that with you today. So in a first slide I got here, as you can see, if you went to the Federal Registry, this information is from the Federal Registry, and I'll put this in the description section of this video so you can go out and you can do some additional research as well. But it states the agency, which we know is Department of Veterans Affairs, action. This is a proposed rule. It hasn't went into effect, okay, but it's just a proposal at this point. And then the summary. I'm not going to go through and read the entire summary, but you know what kind of shocked me was the last sentence of this paragraph. It says the proposed rule of the proposed rule reflects changes made by the American Psychiatric Association Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders (DSM-5), advances in medical knowledge, and recommendations from VA Mental Disorder Work Group. You know who's missing from that? Veterans, we the veterans. But now you can leave a comment, but they've already, talked to other individuals, but they haven't talked to any vets. So I thought that was kind of surprising. And then the dates. VA must receive comments on or before April 18th, 2020. Someone left a comment on my last YouTube video Thursday that I uploaded, and they said, hey, when I went to leave a comment, they were asking me for my name. Do you think they're going to try to retaliate? And I was just like, wow, why would they ask for the name? Just you're leaving a comment. Okay. But nonetheless, I just want to point that out. 2 things, well, 3 actually. It's just a proposal. 2, who did the VA reach out to consult about these changes, and the deadlines for veterans to leave a comment. Okay. Now, what we have here is I went through and I really didn't, and this is what took me a while to figure out how I wanted to do this particular video and what I wanted to share. So I highlighted some things in red. And the first one, in the first paragraph, top left, it says International Classification of Functioning. Now, by no means am I trying to be a mental health provider or medical provider. That I am not. So a lot of this terminology or acronyms they use, I did go out and do my own research as well, and then came back and looked at the proposed changes and just tried to get a better understanding. Okay. So I'm not going to talk about the ICF right now. So as you can see, we'll discuss in later slide. But then down below, it says World Health Organization Disability Assessment Schedule. WHODAS 2.0 covers 6 domains of functioning. Okay, so keep this in mind because each slide that I'm going to share is going to play off of each other. It's going to play off of each other. Okay, so WHODAS 2.0 covers 6 domains of functioning, including cognition, mobility, self-care, getting along, interacting with other people, life activities, domestic responsibilities, participation, joining in community activities. So let's go back through that because I want you to take some notes, okay? Or you can go and get this information off the Federal Registry or go to WHODAS 2.0 as well, all right? Understanding and communicating, moving and getting around, hygiene, dressing, eating, staying alone, interacting with other people, domestic responsibilities, leisure, work, school, joining community activities. Now, the reason why I say go out and look at this, Google it. You can Google this information, okay? Because when we get to this ICF that I list up above, I pointed out some things, and this is where it's going to come into play. All right. So now, what do we have here? These are some of the domains. Okay. So in the first paragraph, it says VA proposes a rating formula using 5 domains of functioning to evaluate the extent of disability. Now, and it says similar to the approach of the WHODAS 2.0. Now, remember, in the previous slide, they said WHODAS 2.0 had 6, but they're saying here similar. Okay. So remember some of those things that were in the WHODAS. Okay. So the first domain, interpersonal interactions and relationships. Okay. On the last one, it did talk about, hey, how do you interact with others? And then it has would assess a veteran's ability to effectively interact with other people in both social and occupational settings and participate in society. Now, one thing I want to point out about this, social and occupational, where have we seen that before? That is in the current general rating criteria for mental conditions, right? So if you don't know, go out there and look at it, the general rating criteria, and all from 100, 70, 50, 30, okay, it talks about social and occupational impairment, right? Then it gives some symptoms, but just pointing that out. Then it says the second domain is task completion and life activities. Would assess a veteran's ability to manage task-related demands. Okay. The next one, navigating environments. Okay. And then it talks about self-care. All right. So just look at those. Look at the examples that it gives you. Okay. Read it. It's in the Federal Registry. Again, the link is down below. All right. Now, remember I talked about in one of the previous slides, ICF. Okay. So I went out, I was like, let me look at this form. Let me look at it, go through it, see what's in it, get a better understanding of it. Right. And that's exactly what I did. So as you can see, this is several pages. It's like 15 pages long. Okay. So this is where if you're not going to file a claim until after, if these proposed changes take in effect, and you're not going to file a claim for a mental after that, or if you're looking at doing an increase and you're trying to, just get some evidence, information, whatever, this is where I would start. Completing this checklist, this assessment, filling out on yourself, filling out on on yourself, basically. Okay. To get a feel of how you can rank yourself according to the domains that they're talking about. Okay. So in here, I highlight some stuff in red that I'm going to cover. They talk about, they have, date, address, years, or formal education, current marital status. But then it talks about current occupation, paid employment, self-employment, non-paid work, student, keeping house, retired, unemployed, health reasons, unemployed, other reasons, other, okay? Medical diagnosis, okay? So you know that that's going to have to be there, all right? What diagnosis you have. Then it goes on, I'm sorry. Okay, here we go. So then it goes on and talks about impairments of body functions, okay? First qualifier. Now you look underneath short list of body functions. Talks about consciousness, orientation, energy, drive, function, sleep. But back up top, you can see first qualifier extent of impairments. No impairments means the person has no problem. 0. Mild impairment means a person, means a problems. Mild impairment means a problem that is present less than 25% of the time. Okay. And then it says moderate means that a problem that is present less than 50% of the time. So then you look at these 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9, and then you come down to the mental function. And it says consciousness over to the right. Which qualifier does it fall under for you? 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. Put a number there and do that for all these. Now, I know this may sound really cumbersome and tiresome, but when has the VA made anything easy as it pertains to this process? As veterans, you're going to have to put some work in. Okay. All right. So the next page, here, the next page. So what we have, impairment of body structures. And again, it talks about the first qualifier. But this one also asks second qualifier, nature of change. So it's asking for the first qualifier, show a list of body structures. You can see brain, spinal cord. Then the first qualifier, what does it fall? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9. But then the second qualifier, total absence, partial absence, additional part, is asking those questions. Okay. And now we're on page 4. Activity limitations and participation in and restriction. So remember some of those other the HOODAS where I was talking about interacting with others, participating in different activities. So they're saying it's something similar. So you can see the similarity between the HOODAS and the ICF, right? Says the performance qualifier, then it has the capacity qualifier. Comes down, and then it gets into first qualifier, same thing, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it has second qualifier, which is capacity without extent of activity limitation. Okay. So you can start to get a feel of, where they're going with this. But then I just said, okay, let me just do a John Doe, take a shot. So you can see the performance qualifier 3. I put 3s, in all these just to represent what I was mentioning. But when you go back here, look at what 3 is. Okay. And you can see 3 is severe difficulty. Okay. I just picked that for no reason, but just to give you an example, if you're filling one of these out for yourself, then, you see this one, here's an example of severe disability. So severe difficulty, and then just put the numbers in there for each one. So this is a lot of work. And keep in mind, how they're going to do this on the DBQ, or is it just going to be the examiner has to fill this out or something similar? Okay. So it's definitely, I think it's going to be a lot of information. Okay. So this is page number 6. It's just a continuation from the previous one. And then here we have environmental factors. Okay. And it talks about qualifier, barrier, or facilitator. So up top, environmental factors, qualifier, environmental barriers, or facilitator. 0, no barriers. 1, mild barriers, moderate barriers, severe barriers, complete barriers. All right. So whichever one affects you in these different areas for personal consumption, food, medicine, for personal use and daily living. So these are a lot of questions, there's going to need to be answered. But again, how they're going to be answered on the DBQ if this change goes into effect. Okay. And then also, as I'm going through this, think about the current criteria, the difference. Okay. All right. So here's page number 8. Just other contextual information. All right. In here, we have brief health information. So some things that I highlighted that jumped out at me. Okay. How do you rate your physical health in the past month? Very good, good, moderate, bad, very bad. How do you rate your mental and emotional health in the past month? You have some multiple choice there. Do you currently have any diseases or disorders? Okay, so I'm assuming they're talking about mental health. And again, go out, Google this form, print it off, look at it, fill it out, and just see where you may fall. And here's some additional information that they're asking for as well. Okay, this here, page 11, general questions for participation and activities. Okay, that was one of in the domains. Okay, mobility, capacity, performance. I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. It's on the next slide. I apologize. So mobility, self-care, domestic life. Go through and read these. Where do you feel you fall? Okay. It's a lot of information. Interpersonal interactions. Remember, in one of those domains, how do you get along with others? How do you interact with others? Major life areas. Okay. So in here, they are covering a lot. Okay. And this is just a continuation, community and social and civic life. Go through and look at this stuff. Okay. A lot of information. So you definitely want to make sure you get educated. All right. Next slide. Here it says, after determining the intensity for each domain that we just went through, okay, VA will address frequency. Frequency refers to the percentage of time in the past month that impairment occurred. So if you go back and look at some of those questions they talked about in the past month, your overall mood or whatever, was it bad, good, very good, okay? Then it says consideration of both the intensity and frequency would yield the level of impairment of functioning in each domain. And each level would correlate to a numerical value ranging from 0 to 4, which will be defined as 0, no difficulties. 1, mild impairment. 2, moderate impairment. 3, severe impairment. 4, total impairment. And look at all of them. They're talking about occurs less than 25%, occurs 25% or more, okay, and 25% or more of the time, or total impairment occurs less than 25% of the time. Remember, in that ICF checklist, they were talking about percentages, 25%, So again, it leads me to question how the question is going to be laid out on the DBQ and what information the examiner is going to need to complete. Okay. Now, assigning disability rating. Once an adjudicator determines the level of impairment of functioning each domain caused by mental disorder, VA would assign evaluation 10, 30, 50, 70, or 100. Now, what I do like about this is the minimum criteria is 10%. It's no longer 0, as it like it is now. But you don't see that many veterans getting 0 for a service-connected condition. Okay. But here, down below, disability rating 100. You look over to the right, says level of impairment. You got 0 to 4. You have to be level impairment has to be at a 4, number of affected domains in one or more domain. Okay. Then it has 3 in 2 or more domains. And then for 70%, it says 3 in 1 domain. So while they have 3 in 2 or more domains, that's in the middle between 70 and 100. So I'm assuming if you have that, that still would be the criteria for the 100%, meaning the 3 and 2 or more domains, and then 4 and 1 or more domains. So as you're going through this and you're looking at it for yourself, and if you fall in level of impairment of 3 in 2 or more domains, that should be 100%. And then they show you the 70% criteria for the domains, the 50, the 30, and then the minimum rating of 10. Okay. So the new rating criteria. I'm assuming that this is what they're going to change here in the general rating formula for mental disorders. So you got 10% minimum rating, 30% level 1 and 2 or more domains, 50% level 2 and 1 or more. I'm sorry, in 1 domain, 70 level 3 in 1 domain, or level 2 and 2 or more domains, and 100% level 4 in 1 or more domains, or level 3 and 2 or more domains. So on the previous side, it shows you the criteria: level 4 and level 3 and 2 or more domains. That falls under the 100% criteria. Well, let's scroll down and look at the domains, level of impairment. Okay. So the first one is cognizant. Okay. And then it says under here, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, mild, moderate, severe, and total. I'm not going to go through and read each one. And then the criteria for each one. What is it? Is it mild with slight difficulties, moderate, clinically significant difficulties, severe, serious difficulties, total, profound difficulties, one or more aspects, and then it has interpersonal interactions and relations. So the first domain is cognition. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. I apologize. 2, interpersonal interactions and relationships. 3, task completion and life activities. 4, navigating environments. 5, self-care. Okay. So these are the 5 different domains. Go back, look at that ICF checklist, go through it, and just answer some of those questions, and just take the test and see where you fall. Okay. So, man, that was a lot of information, wasn't it? Like I said, I read it 3 times, went back the 3rd time, plucked out some things that I want to share in this video, but also I went out and Googled HUDAS, because it said similar to HUDAS 2.0, right? And then it talked about the ICF checklist. So I did a few hours of research on this. So if you find yourself where, filing a claim after, if they change these, if they change this criteria, and you find yourself filing a claim after that, or if you look at wanting to do an increase, you got to go do your research, get educated, see where you're at now, and then look at the criteria, the new proposed criteria, and see where you may fall. So that way, you're not going into it blind. Now, I said I want to share some things. What if I was still rating? What would I be looking for? Okay, I'll be looking at, what is the doctor telling me? What is the percentage of time, these things may take you longer to do something, how you're interacting with the public, co-workers, things of that nature. But one component that's missing to help me answer that question fully is the DBQ. What questions are going to be outlined on the DBQ? We're spending a lot of time talking about the proposed changes, but what we're not talking about is those questions, how they're going to be laid out in the DBQ, how they're going to be worded. I'm pretty sure there are going to be some boxes somewhere where it says, is it more than, under the 50% criteria, 170 or whatever, what is the percentage or level of impairment or whatever. Numbers are going to be added. So these examiners are going to be completing these checklists. Okay. And again, I did a video where I talked about some things that veterans don't take with them. So if you're doing a video and you ask a doctor, are you filling out an ICF checklist? Yeah. Why not have one that you already completed right there in front of you? So you can go through, yep, they got this. I feel that I'm here, and this is why, because only you can reasonably articulate that. Okay. So that's a large component that's missing right now that we're not talking about. And that's something that's out of our control. I'm pretty sure that the VA probably already have updated DBQs to go into effect if they implement these new proposed changes. So if that happens, I'll do a video pointing out those changes on that particular DBQ. But again, what would I be looking for? Hey, what's the criteria for these 5 domains that they're using? Okay, what is the percentage or level of impairment, that number that's being assigned to that? Okay, so go get that checklist, the ICF. You can Google it. I Google it. Okay, it wasn't hard to find. Got the updated one, and I went through it. Looked at it, and it was like, yep, okay, I understand it, and I wanted to share that with you. So I'll put the Federal Registry in the link below so you can see it. Go through it, read it once, read it twice, read it 3 times, like I did. If you have to, you may have to Google some additional information to see some of the things, acronyms, or items that they're talking about in this Federal Registry. Okay, so I do apologize. I know this video is kind of lengthy, but hey, if you watched it all the way through, I think it gave you some really good information, a starting point to go out there and actually start your education. So with that being said, make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification button. Please don't forget to share this video with your other fellow veterans. If I don't see you in my next educational video, maybe I'll see you in my next Veterans Roundtable or my next live stream. Take care. Thank you.